What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Ginger, the Beard, and the Glasses podcast. I'm the Beard.
Ginger.
And guest starring today is Dylan. Dylan, how are you doing?
I'm called the Master.
The Master.
The hat. The Under Armour hat.
The hat.
The hat.
So guest starring is the hat. The Glasses, yet again, strikes again and is in Greenville. But he should be back for the next episode.
TM.
What does that mean?
To be
trademarked.
Oh, trademarked.
Kind of
yeah.
like soon TM.
Glasses trademarked. Anyway, so how's everybody been doing lately? Doing good?
It was great until you invited me to come on to this podcast. I'm being honest.
Wow.
A girl threw up in my class.
Oh.
That's just PG.
Spread some more gossip, man.
Her name... No, I'm kidding.
She goes to this school. This is her Instagram, her Snapchat, her social security number.
I got in trouble last episode.
Yeah, you did get in trouble last episode. So, anyways, I have to tell you. So, have y'all seen the trailer? I know you watched it. Have you? The trailer for Stranger Things 3 dropped, and it looked really good.
I have not seen
They're
it.
making a Stranger Things 3 after the colossal mistake. That was season 2.
Whoa.
Yes, and
Season 2 was just a money grab. They should have ended off season 1.
No, how dare you?
I will say season 2 was a bit of a drop off from season 1, I think. Even though I don't remember what much happened.
The ending of season 2 was meh. Like that one episode where she was like using the force on the train car.
In Chicago.
In Chicago. Yeah, that episode could have been...
It was good for character development for her, but I felt like they could have done it better.
That's true. I agree.
Because they needed to do that.
Now, there was one good episode where like they were in the lab and then all of the Demogorgon dog things attacked the lab and it's like, they're rushing for safety.
And then what? Nice guy dies?
Yeah, Doug. What's his name? Doug?
I think it was Doug.
He
Puzzle
seems like
guy?
a... he seems like a Doug. If his name isn't Doug, his name should be
The name Doug has been ruined by 21 Jump Street for me.
And which character was Doug in 21 Jump Street?
Jonah Hill.
I'm sorry, it's been a while since I've seen that movie. I'm bad with names.
Is the short fat guy?
Okay.
The curly hair?
That was his name?
The one who had sex with Ice Cube's daughter?
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay, that's all you needed to say. I love how
And then got tased in the penis?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
That was 22 Jump Street, but it's still the same.
Yeah, I binge watched them on the same day.
Yeah.
So I got the whole experience.
I think that was the first movie I bought an Xbox 360, and then I immediately regretted the fact that I bought a movie on the Xbox. But hell, I can watch it anytime I want now.
Amen.
As long as you have the Xbox.
Oh, please. I had that Xbox for, I think I'm approaching 8 years now. First Xbox ever had, taking good care of it.
That's good.
8 years.
Only problem I had was the laser that reads the discs.
Red Ring of Death? You talking about?
No, like the thing the laser that reads the discs when you're playing the game. It got pushed up, so it was grinding into the discs.
Ooh, that sounds bad.
Yeah, so I had to get that fixed. But it's a common issue with it. Because I had the short black one.
Are you talking about the slim where it's like the touch where you turn on?
It's the one that's the short black one, but it's not the Elite.
So it's not the one that looks like a knockoff Xbox One.
I wouldn't call it a knockoff Xbox
Oh,
One.
are you talking about the Elite? It's the
first.
short black one that's not the Elite.
So it has like the curves.
Yes, it has.
That's
the
the
curves.
slim. That's the slim.
Yeah.
That I have the I still have it. It's actually in the other room. The white Xbox 360, like the original one.
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy, is that thing like a tank.
And that was
How's it not broken?
I don't know.
That was when I found out that you shouldn't be moving stuff around when a disc is in it because
I learned the hard
I remember
way.
it was the release day of MW3. I went out, I picked up the game for pre-order. I took it back, I put it in, I was playing, and then there was something on with the HDMI cable, so I picked it up and turned it like this, and it just...
Oh, no.
So I grabbed the disc, was like, damn it, and so I got back in the car, went to GameStop, luckily they replaced it, and then I went back home, and I played it, and I was like, okay, don't touch it.
I had that same thing happen with Left 4 Dead.
Oh.
But, when I got my Xbox 360, Left 4 Dead was like, it wasn't brand new, so I didn't get a replacement.
You need to play Left 4 Dead on PC. Get those Teletubbies chasing you. Or My Little Pony.
Oh my goodness. Oh, speaking of which, so Netflix also has a trailer for a new show called Black Summer. Have y'all heard of that?
No.
No.
It's a prequel to this really cringy show. Have y'all heard of Z Nation? Yeah, it's a prequel. Z Nation is a zombie TV show on Sci-Fi, so that should really give you an indicator there. And it's really just kind of pokes fun in itself.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It was funny for the first season because the first season all the good stuff.
Well, I don't think you've watched far enough because the last season was also pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
I made it to season 3.
It's too big of a spoiler, but it's so funny.
Is Doc and the shooter guy.
Best guy of Z Nation is still alive. But that may be subjective.
Murphy?
That's the guy that was NSA. NSA guy up in Arctic. Best guy.
Oh, the guy that, yeah, that guy. What else did he play? He played something. I knew him from something else before.
He's been in a lot of movies.
I want to say he was in, like, a cartoon, and that's how I knew his voice.
Yeah. I don't know. But,
that guy's still alive?
Yep.
Oh, wow. That was one of my favorite characters.
But the thing I was talking about that's super funny is part of him, and it's a spoiler, sadly, so I'm not gonna say it.
Okay, you can spoil this. Now, spoiler alert for our viewers. Does he ever, like, meet up with the main crew?
Yes. Actually,
Really?
he does that in, like, season 2. Like, season 2, season 3.
Really?
Yes.
I need to start
He does
watching
that
the show again.
very early on.
I need to watch the show again. I got to the part where they, like, had nuclear zombies, and I was like, yeah. Like, after the bomb went off. Spoiler alert, my bad. I did spoiler alert earlier.
That was like 4 or 5 years ago.
I know, it was a long time ago. But anyways, Black Summer is a prequel, but it's a lot more serious. But take the same type of zombies, and, it's the same type of zombies, but it's a lot more, we're not going to have giant cheese wheels rolling down the road.
Yeah.
And zombie-nados. And, it looks good, okay? And it's an 8-episode run for now, season 1. Definitely gonna binge it. That's gonna be like my top priority for that week.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, so Ginger, me and you have been talking off air, and I feel like we need to settle this debate. Okay. So, as you know, I'm a huge Marvel fan.
Yeah, I didn't know.
And so, I hold a certain character in Marvel to a very high standard.
To the point you wrote a college paper about it. And speech.
I did write a speech about it.
What was the speech?
It was very similar to the topic we're about to go on.
No, it is the topic we're going on.
I did write a speech about this. It was that's how much passion I have towards this. Captain America. Wholesome superhero, great guy, and certified badass, okay?
Ever since you just started watching his movies.
I've been watching his movies for a very long time.
But when did he become your favorite character?
If you can't, okay. So
is he your favorite character?
He is my favorite Marvel character. Okay?
Well, yeah, we're speaking strictly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely my favorite Avenger. And I really like Spider-Man, but he's just under Captain America.
Didn't you used to like Iron Man though?
I still like it's Cap, Spider-Man, then Iron Man.
But like a year ago, you were talking about Iron Man was your favorite guy to watch.
No,
and he was your favorite
that is
hero.
incorrect.
There's holes in the story.
That is a false statement.
The holes are being revealed.
It's a false statement. I don't know what you're talking about.
But I swore you said that Mantis was your favorite character. Hell, you have a face tattooed on your back.
How did you know? What gave it away?
Because you have a body pillow of her. And your walls are plastered with posters of her. It's ridiculous.
It's just Mantis.
I saw one of your sketchbooks. It was disgusting. I was on the verge of calling the police.
Oh my goodness. That's awful. No. But in all realness here, Captain America, a wholesome superhero, certified badass, especially in Infinity War, where he just waltz in, does some cool stuff, catches the Infinity Gauntlet, and then, that's it. But you know, he was cool while doing it. We can all admit that Captain America was really cool.
Yeah, I do think that.
Now, there was a problem with Captain America. There's some beef with his character in the MCU, and that is with a man by the name of Tony Stark. I'm calling at Tony Stark, the real Tony Stark.
Robert Downey Jr.?
At Robert Downey Jr. No,
you can find him on Twitter.
and Instagram. But no, and that was Civil War, okay? And I believe that...
To be fair, it was been going on before Civil War and then after Civil War.
Well, yeah, that was true. And even they still had a little bit of beef even in, like, the original Avengers. I mean, they still had some bickering. But, like, you know, they still worked together really well. They fought, like, all the bad guys. Even the ones that Tony Stark created. Cough, cough.
You're acting like Captain America didn't do anything bad.
What did Captain America do bad?
See, he,
We don't talk about Civil War. We're getting to that later.
He dropped airships on top of a city. He dropped a city on top of a city.
No, that was Tony Stark's fault.
He was a part of it.
He was a part of the
And he
defending.
worked with it.
No. That was
Okay, so you're
fully Bruce Banner
so
and
you're
Tony
saying
Stark.
so you're saying if I buy a gun and I hand it to somebody and they shoot somebody, I'm not at fault for killing that person?
That is not what happened. Tony Stark and Bruce Banner made Ultron. And then they tasked the rest of Avengers with taking him down. So, Captain America is a hero. Saving lives.
He's still at fault.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
His team is at fault. Because Tony Stark
Isn't he the leader, though? Isn't Captain America the leader?
When the governments came in and they're like, okay, Avengers, we need to sanction you. They didn't go, we need to sanction everybody except you, Captain America, because you're awesome. They didn't do that. They said everybody, because everybody's equally
So
at
how
fault.
is this Captain America? I want you to explain how Ultron is Captain America's fault.
I'm not saying that Ultron was his fault. I'm saying that he also did things and participated in things which equally make him at fault.
So had the Avengers not shown up in Sokovia, and everybody would have died. So would you rather them just not showed up and the government be right and no government left, or they show up and then the government bitch about it for like 2 movies?
They went and they did save in quotation marks because they still dropped a city on top of a city and killed a lot more people.
The Avengers didn't do that.
Happened.
Ultron did that.
But they still did it.
No, they saved people from that drop.
But they still dropped it on the city. They could have just let it flew off into space.
But then it would have come back down.
Not if it goes far enough.
No, but the machine that they had was supposed to go so high and then come back down and smash into like the dinosaur meteor.
Yes. But they still dropped on the city and it still killed everybody in the city. So what was the point?
No, they bought the helicarriers and people survived.
Yes, the people on the island, but what about the people below?
That's not my problem. That's not.
There, see? There.
That's not. Okay, why Captain America can't save everybody?
Exactly. But you can't drop a city on top of a city and expect there to be no repercussions.
That was not Captain America's fault. That was Iron Man's fault.
Everybody was at fault.
It was Iron Man's fault.
Everybody's at fault. Black Widow's at fault. Vision's at fault. Thor's at fault. Hulk's at fault.
No.
Everybody is equally at fault.
No, they're not.
Black Widow.
Don't you dare call Hawkeye into this.
One-eyed man is at fault. Everybody's at fault.
Nick Fury is at fault. He was hanging out with Captain Marvel.
Everybody equally is at fault. They didn't go, you are in more trouble than you, more than you. Everybody.
But Tony Stark should be in more trouble.
But he isn't, so deal with it.
This is stupid. I call blasphemy.
Besides, Captain America is chilling on Earth right now. Where's Tony Stark?
In a spaceship.
In space with no food, oxygen.
That's not my problem. That's not Steve Rogers'
So
problem.
if anything,
either.
he is getting the punishment he deserves. So why are you bitching?
Well, according to the trailers, spoiler alert for the trailers, but why am I even saying spoiler? It's a trailer. Tony Stark is back on Earth. We know he gets back on Earth in Infinity War, or in Endgame.
Yeah, and Captain America stayed on Earth the entire time. He had it easy. He has feet kicked
Easy,
up, drinking a beer.
easy. He had to fight Thanos.
As did Tony Stark.
Yeah, but Tony Stark got stabbed, and Steve Rogers didn't get stabbed. He caught the gauntlet like a badass.
Still, if anything, Tony Stark did something a lot cooler, and he could have fended off if it weren't for, asshole. And then he would have won.
Okay, so we can all...
It would have been fine.
At least we can agree that it's all Star-Lord's fault.
Captain America just was like... He was like charging a tank with papier-mâché armor.
You know what?
But Tony Stark did a good fight, put up a good fight, almost won if it weren't for Asshot.
You know, I agree that Tony Stark did put up a good fight, and his suit was really cool in Infinity War. But Steve Rogers put up a really good fight, too.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
He did.
He fought the army well, but he didn't fight Thanos for dick.
He was the only one that stood up to Thanos minus Scarlet Witch, who has the power of an Infinity Stone.
Yeah, okay. I can catch a glove.
Iron Man couldn't catch the glove.
It's because he was pinning him down. He was holding him down while they were pulling.
No, everyone was holding him down.
Exactly.
5 or 6 people. Captain America. 5 or 6 people.
They're holding him still. All he did was just hold his glove in front of him.
And then he got punched in the face. And then he got punched in the face and thrown like half a mile.
It was not half a mile.
And then he failed to protect Vision. But then again, this could also be seen as Scarlet Witch just being a selfish prick, and it just could have killed Vision.
But he still would have used the time stone to reverse it.
I know, but he wouldn't know how far back he would have to go. Also, you can't really go back if you don't know where it's at. Because what's the point of rewinding time when you don't know what you're looking for?
Okay, what I want to know is how did they even know the stone was in Wakanda?
Because it...
Was there like some technology that...
I think it's because it's giving off like immense power, so you can...
Gotcha. Okay. So they couldn't have just like hid Thanos or hid Vision somewhere else?
They couldn't. Okay. Because they knew where he was essentially at every time.
Well, that's unfortunate. Because, you know, they could have just thrown it in the ocean somewhere. And
then they would have walked up in the ocean and grabbed it anyway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, anyways, we got totally off topic here.
Off top? No, it's still on topic.
Well, it is somewhat on topic. Okay, so Steve Rogers is a great superhero, great person, great soldier. He is really cool. You know, he's got cool superpowers. They're cooler than Tony Stark's superpowers. Oh yeah, he doesn't have any.
Well, yeah, and neither did Captain America. He had to be modified because he was too much of a twig to do anything. Oh, especially during a World War II where they were scraping the bottom of the barrel for absolutely anything they could get, and they still wouldn't get him.
But he jumped on that grenade and showed that he was a true soldier that cared.
Fake grenade.
But he didn't know that.
So you would know because no colonel's going to walk up and throw a live grenade in front of like a bunch of privates. He would be martial law.
No.
Not martial law. He'd be court-martialed immediately.
He martial lawed, yes. He would martial law because of...
He'd be court-martialed immediately. He would be arrested. He'd probably be shot.
Well, you know, Captain America didn't have time to react. He just jumped.
Still, that doesn't mean anything.
My point is...
You know, Tony Stark sat in a donut and ate donuts.
Okay. And...
Only true badasses can sit in a donut and eat a donut.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
so he survived many of explosions on his house. You know, rip that house.
That was a nice house.
Yeah.
Well, at least you know Captain America. You know he fought Nazis. Okay.
So it's not relevant anymore.
That's pretty cool.
It's not relevant anymore.
He flew a plane into ice and survived.
Not relevant anymore. Who cares?
Well, yeah, Tony Stark's house being blown up isn't that relevant?
I know, but that's today. He fought many of today's problems. While Captain America was like a has-been.
He is now, not a has-been.
And is now? No, he can't do anything.
Yes,
he's like the equivalent of Hawkeye with bow and arrow.
Oh my God! Did you just equivalent Captain America to Hawkeye?
Yes. And Hawkeye's better.
Oh my goodness! And this is why you're wrong.
See, facts don't care about your feelings.
Captain America has super strength and super freedom, and
strength doesn't mean anything if you don't apply it in the right place.
He has a vibranium shield. What does Hawkeye have? He has a ditzy little bow and arrow that turns into a wacky staff.
But he's done a lot more.
What?
Plus, he has a family. He's taking care of his kids like a good father and a good husband.
Captain America had, what's her name?
Peggy?
Peggy Carter.
But she died.
Yeah, but it was in Civil War.
They didn't even get together. Because he was too busy, you know,
saving humanity.
He was too busy swallowing that receptionist. in the bunker.
What?
You know, he could not have like.
What are you talking about?
He was making out with that like blonde chick in the bunker or whatever before he went on to his like final mission or whatever. Remember?
No.
He was kissing that girl, and then Peggy walks in, sees that, and then walks away.
I do not remember, but I will take your word for it. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
It happened. And do you know what Hawkeye did? He didn't do that because he's not an adulterer.
They weren't married. Okay, Captain America might have cheated on Peggy Carter, but then he came back 70-something years later
when she had Alzheimer's and barely knew who he was.
You know what? He also
and her daughter barely even cares for her. So that means Peggy also went off with some other dude.
Peggy went off with some other dude?
Yes, because she has a child. You can't just, oh yeah, I'm pregnant. She has to go have sex with somebody. And, most likely marry that person.
You know what? You're off topic here.
It's not off topic.
It is off topic because Captain America is right and Tony Stark's wrong.
No.
I said it.
See, you are blinded by emotion just like Captain America.
Oh, you didn't?
Yes.
Alright, so viewers, or listeners, we have our guest, the Master Hat over here.
Mm-hmm.
Guest. We are going, as you can tell, we've kind of started early. We're going to have a debate about this. And we're going to have a moderator to choose who's right.
I bet those are biased because you coached them.
I did not coach him.
No, I honestly don't even care or have an opinion on who was better or not. So I'm going to let you guys duke it out.
This is why
Ant-Man's better.
Ant-Man is better, but he was on Team Captain America.
So that's true.
But then he also went straight to Tony Stark as well.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did because he left the prison and he was with his family, like a good husband.
He took bail. He took freaking home.
And he stuck his little ankle bracelet on an ant. While the ant played drums.
I know, but does that sound like going with Tony Stark? No, that says taking the easy way out.
Yeah, he left Captain America and went with Tony Stark.
No, he didn't win with Tony Stark. He went home.
Thanks to Tony Stark. Because Tony Stark's a good man.
And you're calling Captain America a bad man now.
He left his friends. He abandoned them.
He had to save the world again from the evil psycho guy from Sokovia in the ice bunker.
But he didn't do... There's nothing there. He went there and they were all dead in the first place. So all he did was walk over there and then just have another fight with Iron Man.
That was Iron Man's fault.
No, it wasn't.
Iron Man shot first.
What are you supposed to expect when somebody kills your father?
Captain America did not kill his father. It was Bucky Barnes that killed his father.
And Captain America
and Bucky Barnes was brainwashed.
Alright, shut your face so we can move on with this.
You're saying. Alright, moderator. Do you have any points you would like to make? Questions?
Well, I just want to know why you think Captain America was right, first off.
I think Captain America was right.
Why?
Because if he signed on with the government, first off, I got 2 points here to make. First off, the government. What if a Sokovia happened again?
It wasn't the government; it was the UN.
Which is the government. It's a big government.
The UN keeps peace around the world. Mind you, however, today they're not very effective.
Yeah, and this story takes place when? Today.
Well, actually, it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. But they changed so much in 2 years.
They changed a lot, actually.
Really?
A ton. But that's political.
Were they super effective 2 years ago?
They are very highly destructive. That's political. We're not talking about this.
Okay, so if Captain America said it well, I quoted this in my paper. I forgot the exact quote, but he said something along the lines of, power is best kept in our own hands, something like that. And that's because...
That's totalitarian.
Can you be quiet and let me speak? This is your job. Just shut him up while you speak.
I want to see what you guys have to say.
So, Captain America knows the type of threats the Avengers deal with. Okay, they're not like Spider-Man. They don't deal with everyday bank robbers. They deal with planetary stuff over here. Okay, we're talking Loki and Thanos and Ultron and, you know, stuff that matters, okay? Stuff that's above anybody's pay grade at the UN. Because you know what the government of the world and the governments tried to do? They tried to nuke Manhattan. They tried to nuke all these people. But no, the Avengers saved the day without... Well, they needed the nuke. But it wasn't because the place got nuked. Okay? And also, my other point is that he would be listening to the guys that are putting... You know, with Tony Stark. Okay, Tony Stark is not a good person to follow. And here are my reasons for this. Tony Stark is not a good person to follow because, first off, you know, the whole thing with creating Ultron, and that's not good, and those are the, you know, and then, you know, then everyone's blaming the Avengers. No, they would not have had to assemble had Tony Stark not build Ultron, okay? That's all I gotta say. Mic drop, but our mic's on a stand, so mic stand.
What about Hulk? Isn't he also equally at fault? Because he built Ultron with him?
Yes, they're both at fault. But Hulk went off to join Thor in a side quest.
You mean he went off to go be Gladiator?
Yeah. And so you can't really get him on that.
The way you described Captain America is totalitarian and a dictator.
Okay, so how is Captain America a totalitarian government?
I'll use the quote you just said. Power is best kept in our hands.
Yes, because they know the threats that normal
and the world and everybody else doesn't. What? Everybody just casually stroll into their like local hospital and be like, "Yo, give me a lobotomy."
No, but like I said earlier, the people's plan to deal with Loki was to nuke him. Okay. The Avengers solved it without everybody in Manhattan dying.
Everybody in Manhattan was in the process of dying.
But they didn't!
See, there's all kinds of things where, and mind you, also fictional situations, where a huge problem happens in a city and they're frustrated, and what they do is the last thing they plan to do is nuke it because there's no other options that they can do.
Yeah, there were a lot of other options.
Like what?
Let the Avengers fight the Chitauri!
They were going nowhere.
Well, you know what? They tried to kill everyone. Captain America didn't.
Because for every one they killed, like 4 more came out of the portal.
Okay, so what if they did do that? What if Thanos attacked and the UN was like, now hold on. We want to see what this guy has to say. The Avengers, Captain America was already at Wakanda when, you know, that was going down. Okay?
Nobody said, hey, let's negotiate with them.
Well, no, but if there needs to be...
What happened was they landed in New York and they destroyed New York again. They didn't, like,
and you know what?
Thanos didn't, walk into a conference room and be like, I'm going to kill you, half of you.
In Infinity War, when everyone was at Avengers HQ, Cap, War Machine, all of them, they all came back to Avengers HQ before they went to Wakanda.
The paraplegic?
Yeah, the paraplegic War Machine. And General Ross was there, and everyone was like, yeah, sorry, whatever. Like, everyone knew the threat. And General Ross was telling them to stand down because Captain America was there.
Because there were criminals. What are you supposed to do?
Criminals that are trying to save humanity.
So?
So that's like...
Okay, so if somebody robs a bank and donates all the money to charity...
Suicide Squad. Criminals trying to save humanity. I'm done. That's all I got to say about that.
Well, first of all, it's the wrong universe, but still.
No, but it's the same...
What, 30 minutes or less?
I'm not saying 30 minutes or less.
You make me cry.
You're not crying.
It's because I'm gonna go out here and cry.
Go.
No, not yet. Because I still need to whoop your ass. What's next?
What's next, moderator?
Okay, so I need to say something about Iron Man. So in the first movie, he was completely against the government, right? And he said that being with the government was like committing to indentured servitude or prostitution, something what he said. His whole thing was that he was a privatized man weapon for the good of the world. He was even reluctant to join these Avengers. But then, why does he switch to want to be with the government?
He switches to be with the government because he saw the outcome of what would happen if the Avengers were left unchecked.
Exactly. What happened because he caused all the problems.
No, what happened when Scarlet Witch did her thing in, what was it, Avengers 2.
It was Avengers Age. It was Civil War. It was Civil War when she blew up the building.
No, in Age of Ultron, when Scarlet Witch did her little magic to Iron Man, and he saw those visions. He saw what the outcome would be if the Avengers were left unchecked. So that's why he started building all the AI and all the other suits, so that way he could make it to where the world will be safer and will. Because the Avengers, if they're left unchecked, they're going to all die. And all of his friends are going to die, and the world will be destroyed. So that's why they needed to have the support of the UN and all the governments. That's why he decided to... That's why he flipped.
But
because he saw what his selfishness would do, and he changed.
But my thing is that, like, during Infinity War, like, everyone totally forgot about Civil War. Okay? No one cared about the government. No one asked the UN, hey, can we go to Wakanda and, like, fight these guys? No, they just went and they did it, and they lost, but that was not their fault.
Well, because the Sokovia Accords were never signed.
Yes, they were.
No, they didn't. It fell through because everything exploded and they became criminals.
Half of them became criminals, but then what happened to Iron Man and them? You'd think that they would just sign it later. Why? Okay, if they didn't sign it, then why are we having this discussion?
They said in the Civil War that the deal requires that all of them sign.
So is everyone a criminal now? Is Iron Man a criminal now?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure he would be, but then he made a deal with the government, a separate one that's not the Sokovia Accords.
Well, I'm just saying. I think you saw it too. Where Iron Man was flying around in Spider-Man: Homecoming, giving a 15-year-old a suit of mass destruction.
Well, yeah, someone who has the ability and someone who protected New York while they were off doing God knows what.
Spider-Man was at Civil War. What are you talking about? He was a defending.
Previously, because actually no, I guess it was after. But still, he did all kinds of good.
I'm sure he did. He did.
And he did good with his dingy little suit as well.
He did really good with that dingy little suit. Can we all get a round of applause to the dingy little suit? Just no one.
You know why?
Oh yeah.
To be fair, he did
because you're a.
He did blow up a deli with a cat in it.
No. That was the robbers.
The robbers blew it up, but that was because Spider-Man hit the robber, which then caused him to just and blow it up.
He was trying to stop the robber.
Did he know that he was going to blow it up, though, whenever he shot it?
I'm sure he saw all those things working.
There's somebody. And we're back on the podcast.
That was not a second.
We had a family member at the door, and we had to
you mean your family member?
Yes, my family member, my cousin, was at the door.
Over 30 minutes have passed.
Really?
Yes, it's 7 o'clock.
Time skip. Anyways, so, where were we? Moderator.
I don't really know.
Moderator, do you have
We were talking about the place being blown up in Spider-Man. The cat.
Oh, yeah.
The cat's deli.
I lost my train
Okay,
of thought.
so what you're telling me is that, but Spider-Man's on Team Iron Man. So, that's Iron Man's problem.
No, it's not.
Is this even relevant to what we were talking about?
Well, this was a tangent in the first place.
This was a tangent. Let's go back. Do you have any questions first, moderator?
Questions? Do I have any cues?
Or, stuff to make us argue?
Well...
He says as if we haven't read over them in the 30 minutes we've been waiting.
We have.
Okay, so I'm going to quote this from an article. So, this may... Business Insider, if you have to know.
You have to name, give out the entire URL.
Yeah, you have to cite them.
I got
at least tell us who the article
this is a school project. Okay, so forgive me.
Where's your bibliography in your introduction?
Where's your works cited page?
There it is. amp.businessinsider.com. Boom. Yeah,
okay,
not slash.
That's all it says.
Goodness.
See?
That's all it says. Just go on with it.
If you tap here, then it gives you all the extra.
I can't read all that. I can't read all that.
Anyways,
all right, I'll go back.
You were saying.
All right, so it's talking about. Remember Alexander Peace and Winter Soldier? Do you guys know who he is?
Yes. Yeah, he's one of the Hydra guys.
He's the guy who led the Hydra shield. It says it in the next sentence.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow, getting ahead of me. Okay, all right.
Don't moderate for the moderator.
I'm the moderator. I moderate whenever I moderate.
No, I'm telling him not to moderate over you.
And I was agreeing with you.
Okay.
So it says, the leader of the Hydra cell within S.H.I.E.L.D., who Alexander Pierce was, he masterminds the Project Insight as an effort to recognize and apprehend criminals and terrorists prior to misdeeds via helicarriers In actuality, his plan intends to carry out mass assassinations of citizens recognized as a threat to Hydra based on Arnim Zola's algorithm to force the world into submission. Pierce's plan is foiled by loyal S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. While the Falcon stops Project Insight and Captain America fights the Winter Soldier atop Hydra's corrupted helicarriers, Pierce tries to escape with Natasha Romanoff as a hostage before being gunned down by his former friend. He told Cap what to do, and he was the enemy the whole time. So, how can Cap and other heroes trust and fight for an entity that could be so vulnerable as in a government?
Well, you see, after Winter Soldier, the Avengers become more privatized. They're not part of S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore.
You say after Winter Soldier?
Well, yeah, after that whole thing happened, when they realized that it was a thing. And so, I mean, it's kind of like by the time Civil War and Infinity War roll around, the Avengers are just kind of like their own private thing. Tony Stark owns the Avengers, in theory.
Yeah.
What's left of them.
Mr. Ginger, do you have anything to say on that?
You can't fight for something that's so corrupted.
And that's why Captain America stopped fighting for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, but then the Avengers have been targeted all the time as well, and they're also corrupted and very vulnerable, as seen as in Spider-Man: Homecoming as well.
As seen in Civil War with Iron Man, and I'm just joking. But in all seriousness, how is the Avengers corrupt in Spider-Man?
Well,
in Spider-Man?
Vulnerable, but with the plane, how
that's true.
So easily robbed the plane. Well,
they had
at least tried
security.
to, but because Spider-Man alone stopped them. But just the fact how they were that vulnerable by just a bunch of people dwelling in a warehouse.
Now, in their defense, the Vulture was using alien technology. Not a lot of people have alien technology,
but still, they're that vulnerable.
Maybe if Tony Stark wasn't so busy,
it was a last ditch thing. It was kind of just like the plane's leaving 20 minutes. Go ahead and get ready.
If Tony Stark wasn't so busy getting tipsy in Dubai or wherever he was in Spider-Man: Homecoming,
but he came back.
He
was in New York.
Yeah, but then he left again for some reason. He wasn't on the plane. He wasn't guarding the plane.
Well, in that logic, where was Captain America?
Captain America was a wanted criminal, according to Iron Man.
Exactly, but he's
thanks to Iron Man.
He's still part of the Avengers, and so
he's not part of the Avengers.
And because they have split up, and because it was like that, it makes them even more vulnerable. That's why Vision was so easily attacked.
Well, where was Vision? Because this was before.
Vision was in the UK. He was in Scotland, I believe.
Well. Why didn't Tony Stark be like, "Hey, yo, Vision, we're doing something important"?
Because he ran away.
No, actually.
Vision ran away and he hid from them.
Actually, I have a line from Spider-Man: Homecoming that when Tony Stark offered Peter Parker a place in the Avengers, he stated that his room would be beside the Vision. Okay?
Wait, he said that? When?
He said that in the movie.
When?
In the movie where he was...
What part?
I'm getting to that.
Speak up.
When he was driving... when he drove Peter to Avengers headquarters at the end of the movie, after the whole Vulture thing, and he right before he pushed the button and the Iron Spider suit came out of the wall.
Not the actual Iron Spider suit?
It is the Iron Spider suit of the MCU.
There.
Thank you.
It's not made of iron, though.
Well, is it?
It's made by Iron Man, so that's why it got
But his suit's still not made of iron.
It's a name.
It's stated in, what was it? I believe it was the first...
Aren't you for Iron Man, though?
I am, but the name is so misleading.
Captain America at least fights for America.
But he's not Captain, though. And he's a criminal of America, so he's actually one of her... assuming treason.
But that's when he put down the shield. So he wasn't Captain America at that point.
Was he a captain in World War II? I forgot.
No, he wasn't. He was a figurative captain because he was an actor in plays.
Well...
An actor? You talking about the actor?
But he did fight for America.
He was an actor, going around the U.S. trying to sell war bonds.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So he was a figurative captain, but he wasn't an army captain.
But figurative is still better than not being captain.
Not really. Because a real captain has power, a figurative captain is just a fantasy.
But he has power in his own mind.
Anyways, Captain America put down the title when he took off the shield.
But he was still a wanted criminal as Captain America.
as Steve Rogers.
As Captain America.
Well,
They're the
in
same
theory,
person.
if he gives up Captain America, then what's the problem here?
He's still the same
He went
person.
through the entirety of Captain America Civil War as Captain America. He didn't stop becoming Captain America until the end of it.
Can I say something? So you're saying that since he threw away the Captain America mantra, so he's not wanted anymore, right?
Well, that's what I was getting at. What he was saying.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that even though he is known as Captain America in Captain America, he doesn't identify himself as Captain America in that time.
So that gets rid of all his past crimes.
No, he didn't. He didn't stop identifying as Captain America until he dropped the shield at the end of Civil War.
Okay.
But all the moment before then, he identified as Captain America.
Agreed. But
And because he betrayed the UN, that meant he betrayed all the countries. That means he's wanted for treason against all the countries part of the UN, including America. So the country that he fights and represents,
fought and represented.
fought and represented, now wants to arrest him for treason, essentially.
And that's why he dropped the mantle.
And so he's not wanted anymore?
No, he's still
wanted.
wanted.
I'm sorry.
He dropped the identity.
Exactly.
Okay.
They can call him Captain America.
Okay, so was it James Gunn? Was it the director for
Guardians?
Guardians of the Galaxy?
No, it wasn't James. It was the guy who did that. Like he said that when like him dropping the shield signifies him just like leaving that life behind, like abandoning it.
And now he's going to ironically pick that same shield. Well, not the same shield up. He's going to pick up, the same type shield up in Endgame. So I guess he's back. I love how in Endgame, as far as we know, like no one gives a shit about Captain America being there.
I'm gonna be.
They got bigger problems.
If at the end of Endgame, where we all know how it's going to end, if they be like, okay, you are now absolved of all your crimes.
He's gonna die before he gets absolved of his crimes.
I'll be pissed if they did that. If they do.
I think he's gonna die, and people are gonna remember him. They could remember him as a hero, or they could remember him as a villain.
They'll probably remember him as a villain.
He does have a memorial that we saw in Civil War, right? So people will choose to probably remember him as a hero instead.
Though he was a hero.
But then again, he was like publicly arrested in Germany and like beat up all kinds of like police and people, and was suspected. And is actually not suspected, is harboring a fugitive that was suspected to be a part of the bombing at the UN and killed like a lot of the world leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Oh, well, I could say whatever happened, but then Wakanda took him. Wakanda signed the Sokovia
and
Accords.
Wakanda's also harboring a fugitive.
Yeah, so
and if this is found out, then they're all going to turn on Wakanda, and everyone's going to go to war with Wakanda.
And they'll all lose because it's freaking Wakanda. Okay.
But then then the state of the world would be crushed because
that's not Captain America's problem.
It is Captain America's problem. This is all linked to Captain America. This is called the butterfly effect.
No, that's Bucky right there.
I know, but because Captain America is harboring Bucky, this is called the butterfly effect.
But Wakanda therefore unbrainwashed the Winter Soldier, making Bucky the White Wolf.
Not really. He's still easily vulnerable, as seen in Civil War.
Yeah,
but they brainwashed him. They reverse brainwashed him after Civil War.
But he's still vulnerable.
He could be if given that code.
They never said so. He's still vulnerable. That's why he was wanting to stay in Wakanda, so that way he's safe, and he's the world is safe from him as well.
Well, you know what?
Your argument's falling apart.
Your argument's falling apart. Iron Man is an awful person.
Every time you open your mouth, you're strengthening my argument.
Okay, okay, shut up. All right, Captain America, Mr. Beard, what do you have to say that could get rid of his argument?
I would like to quote the man himself,
Who?
Captain America. Okay? When talking about... This was at the scene where... I'm just showing just how large of a geek I am. I remember this movie. This is one of my favorite movies. So
which movie was this one?
Civil War.
Okay.
Captain America Civil War is one of my favorite movies. And Captain America was at the table. I got a little tidbit before I begin. In Captain America, we could see Tony off in the back. Yes, signifying that he's on Titan in Infinity War. And then we see half the table with the people that survive the snap and then half the people that don't.
You read this in an article or a video?
I did read in an article, but I thought it was interesting. It's that scene. So, the Secretary of State, whatever, Ross, his name, he's, talking, and then Captain America, claps back by saying, I'm going to pull up the quote just to make sure that I am reading it
I
accurately.
bet you're getting ready to say the same quote you said earlier.
He says, and, he's talking about the government, and he says that the government, it's run by people with agendas, and agendas change. So he saw he saw how vulnerable even S.H.I.E.L.D. was. And S.H.I.E.L.D. wasn't technically a government agency. It was like a kind of out of bounds kind of thing. So what if like Hydra got into the UN, which is completely possible? Then the Avengers would be working for Hydra. And we don't want that because Hydra's the bad guys.
Well, A, you're speaking in hypotheticals, and hypotheticals are not facts. B, Hydra was essentially wiped out. As you could also see if you watch the, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show.
Really? They wiped them out?
They're essentially wiped out. They pretty much no longer exist. Like, and if they were to infiltrate the UN, it would take years. And due to them also infiltrating S.H.I.E.L.D. and essentially all kinds of other things, they have all the experience to know how they do this, and so they'll be a lot more prepared, and it'll be a lot harder, so they'll probably catch them before it even gets to that point.
What if a hypothetical other group did it?
Hypotheticals don't count, because they're not facts.
What if one of the people in the UN, like one country, let's just use Wakanda for an example. What if Wakanda was like, oh yeah, we don't like them? What happens then? What happens if, what happens if, now I'm not familiar how the UN works, so in this Sokovia Accords, would all of these countries have to vote to send the Avengers in?
What happened? Essentially, the UN is, think of it like America's government, where they all have their representatives for their country, which is essentially their president, which they go, and then there's a leader of the UN who then makes all these decisions as well, and they have like their own like little thing as well. Yeah. But then they also have what's called NATO, which is the military that is part of the UN. So they're the ones that do the fighting and whatnot, and things that violate like world treaties and whatnot. Things like the Geneva Convention.
Who would be controlling the Avengers?
Them, the NATO themselves.
NATO.
Like, because it's going to be pretty obvious. Like, it's not going to be like, oh, this guy stole her purse in like Iraq and U.S., UK. Everyone's going to be like, who gives a shit? Just leave that to the local police. But, you know, like, aliens are coming from the sky. All of them are obviously going to be unanimously saying yes.
Okay, but what if it's something not as, like, black and white, okay? For instance, Crossbones, from the beginning of Civil War, he was trying to steal, like, some kind of, like, volatile something out of a chemical lab. Okay?
He was trying to get the other Winter Soldiers.
Really?
That's the whole point. That's why they ended up at the bunker, but they were all dead because they've been dead forever. Like I said,
the Crossbones incident was at the very beginning of the movie, and that was a totally different thing from the...
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Chemical.
Well, that's obvious. I mean, they're obviously going to send things like, okay, these people are trying to break into a bio...
But with all of these people controlling the Avengers can't just hop in the Quinjet and snap into action and save the day. There's such bureaucracy that gets in the way.
Think of them like the actual military. They'll be mobilized when they are needed. They're not gonna just be like, the military is not like off doing their own thing, you know, like fight like until they actually needed. They're always ready to go.
But the Avengers are more important than the military. So why is the military controlling something more important than them?
Because they essentially fall under military, because they're super soldiers essentially. That's their whole purpose.
Moderator, would you like to say something? You look like you need to say something.
No, I'm enjoying you guys. But...
And it's not the military. It's not like, you know, some, you know, private Joe Schmo in the U.S. Air Force being like, send the Avengers over there, and then that happens. It's essentially all the world leaders. So it's not the military doing it. And it's... Now, yes, I do see that there could be some bias in the situation. However, they're essentially going to be completely overruled. And like I said, it's going to be very black and white. Because there's some things that you just don't send superheroes for, and there are some things that you do.
And what really would happen if the Avengers got fed up? No one can take down the Avengers. You got Thor.
Actually, they can. They can. If every single country, let's see how many countries are in the UN.
Okay, but what if the Avengers cause like a civil war it's like a world war? Okay.
You mean like World War II?
All right, there are 193 countries. Well, actually, there are 195 but it's totally compressed of 193 countries. That's 193 countries that are going at the same time going to war with this small group. They have nowhere in the world to hide, and due to them being part of the UN, they have total authority to where entire countries' armies could march into another country and they won't have to ask for permission.
Yeah, but what happens? Are they gonna? Okay, what happens if they don't like the Avengers anymore? They're gonna just kick them all out?
They'll do it if they're no longer needed, because that's the whole purpose. The only reason they exist now is because they're needed, but they don't need the Avengers in world peace, because what's the point?
Intergalactic threats.
That's not an issue.
That's not world peace.
But that's not an issue.
Thanos isn't part of Siberia.
What you're getting into is excluded from world peace.
You still need the Avengers for intergalactic threats.
Then you have something different. But the Avengers is not purely for the Avengers are not going off to they're not going off to Gamora's world and being
they will if they need to.
No, they won't, because they don't care. They only care about the world that they're in.
Then why did Iron Man go off to Titan?
That's why Guardians of the Galaxies exist, because that's their problem. That's not the Avengers' problem.
But why did Iron Man, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange go to Titan?
You're in the wrong argument. You're scraping the bottom of the barrel. This is the wrong argument. Move on. What's the next question?
I want you to answer my question. Why did they go to Titan if it didn't pertain to Earth? Earth's mightiest heroes, they're not on Earth.
It did pertain to Earth because half the universe includes Earth.
Okay.
Then they're worrying about cosmic threats.
Okay. I think we're beating this topic enough already. I don't think I have anything else, and I think you guys are done too. So next topic, please.
It's you.
It's you. You're the moderator.
Oh my god.
Last question.
Crap.
Last question.
It's the last.
Well, you've been leading this entire time, and you just told me to do it this time. It's Civil War.
Here, ask the last one.
Last question for Civil War?
Yeah, just do the last one.
Okay. It says, this is from the article. It says, you say that the Avengers are a security threat. This is true, but they are a threat when there is already a more dangerous threat out there. This is Cap's point, which is clouded in Civil War by his bond with Bucky Barnes and his distrust of the government. But Cap's distrust of the government is fair. While S.H.I.E.L.D. is not a government entity, it might as well be. It was literally run by Hydra in the past, and that's all I have.
So in your article, it's basically just backing up saying the Cap doesn't trust the government, and the government is forcing this down his throat.
Yeah.
And then you got Bucky in it. Well, maybe, just maybe, you know what? I think this would have been okay. Let me finish. This would have been all okay had Zemo not screwed with the plan. Okay? They had Bucky in the chamber. Okay? They could have all figured out he was brainwashed. And then this wouldn't have happened. Okay? Captain America wouldn't have needed to sprung into action, save Bucky, had the villain not striked.
You don't need to trust someone to know that they're doing the right thing.
Explain. Who are we not trusting in?
You don't need to trust the government to understand that they're doing the right thing. For instance, yes, you may not trust, let's go. You may not trust the United States government, but you do understand that they are important and you need them.
Where was the United States government in the Battle of New York? Where were they in the Battle of New York?
They actually had the military there. Didn't you see them? And they were helping.
Yeah, they were helping. They were helping not as much as the big green guy or the lightning god.
Actually, they were, because they were taking care of the civilians and evacuating from the city.
Because Cap told them to.
See, you can't believe you're only saying what you see, but you're not seeing the whole picture. You're focusing in on what you want to see. There's a broader picture here.
They nuked the city. They were trying to nuke the city.
I've already destroyed this argument 3 times previously. I'm not going to do it again, because this is just getting redundant.
Okay, so back to what the moderator said. That the Avengers are needed more than the threats, correct? Like they are a threat. I will give you that. The big Hulk is a threat, okay?
Hulk destroyed a city.
Oh, yes, but
Twice.
But what did he also do?
3 times.
He also saved a lot of people's lives.
But I'm sure he also he injured many more, destroyed tons of property, and I'm sure he did kill a few people as well.
Oh, probably.
Well, haven't all the Avengers kill people? Haven't they?
That's true.
Especially with the Sokovia with that
But
city.
Hulk has probably killed more civilian lives.
That's
you
also
sure?
probably true.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they're not... Obviously, Marvel's not going to show, every single time Hulk, smashes a person to death.
Yeah.
But out of all the destruction that happens, I'm sure
some
Hulk
died.
Hulk is probably number one in the most civilian deaths.
Alright, can we talk about his battles then? Like, where he's fought at
Hulk?
in the sea.
We were talking about this during the break. You claimed that Team Captain America was... Now I'm gonna give you a chance to... make sure this is correct. Team Captain America was responsible for Rhodey being paralyzed.
Yes.
This is incorrect.
His team.
His team. Now, I would like to... Okay, so... Vision shot at Falcon,
Yes.
who was flying behind Rhodey, who was flying behind the Quinjet. Okay? I don't know how the Quinjet didn't get hit. It was in the blast. Falcon does the logical thing and ducks... not being hit by a giant Mind Stone blast like a sane person would. It was a complete accident of Vision's point. Now, how is Vision's accident Captain America's fault?
Mm-hmm. I have to agree with him there. How is that his fault?
Actually,
Really
you're right. I have misremembered that bet.
That's okay.
Well, it's one win.
That's your one win.
You know what? And Captain America would not have to fly off if Iron Man wasn't trying to arrest him.
Okay.
I didn't like that. It was just that I really would have rather have had entirety of Team Cap bet on the Quinjet because he kind of sacrificed everybody on his team to get to the Quinjet.
Exactly.
But in his defense, also he was trying to prove Bucky's innocence, and really, we should all be looking at Hydra here. Okay, it's all Hydra's fault. It's not Bucky's fault because Bucky was brainwashed by Hydra.
How many years ago?
A long time ago.
But then again, Captain America is still harboring a world...
because nobody would listen to him.
So what? He's still guilty.
Yeah, well, you know what? Even if he was guilty, okay? Even if everyone agreed he was guilty, it doesn't matter because no one cares anymore.
In today's world...
But we're not talking about now, we're talking about...
In today's world, if I essentially if I brainwashed you and made you go kill someone, you're still going to get arrested because you still killed them.
Mm-hmm.
There would have been some sort of thing to make sure... if he would,
you would still be arrested.
He still did it.
Yes, you still killed that person. It doesn't matter that I brainwashed you. Yeah. Yes, I will be arrested as well, but you will also be arrested.
Can I say something? So, it's like you're drinking, and then you go... you're driving. Drinking and driving, then you go ahead and get someone killed. Then, did you kill him? Yes. Was it an accident? You didn't know.
Brainwashing is not an accident.
Well,
you think that
technically
he
being drunk
intentionally decided?
It kind of falls to the same category. You didn't mean to kill them because you had no control, but you still killed them.
Yes, but you chose to get drunk and drive. You think that Bucky chose to get brainwashed by Hydra?
It's the whole thing about being
Winter Soldier is at fault, 100%.
Yes.
Bucky Barnes is not.
Yes, but he's still a criminal, and Captain America is still harboring him, and so even if Bucky Barnes is proved to be innocent, Captain America is still a criminal, and he will still be arrested regardless of whether or not Bucky Barnes is innocent, because he got involved in a I can't remember what it's called.
Government conspiracy.
No, it's
That's what it was.
No, it's
It's joking.
When you're disrupting justice, like getting in you're trying to sabotage an investigation. I can't remember.
Okay. You know what?
He's still doing it.
You can get Cap on that, but he would not have had to do it had the events like Zemo. I think that was his name. The bad guy.
Why are you repeating yourself? Why are you?
I'm getting somewhere with this, and the Sokovia Accord things wouldn't have happened the way it did had Tony gone to the team instead of just springing it on them that we're doing this. He would have been like, "Hey guys, I want to see how this is." Then they could have talked it over instead of Tony going behind the team's back.
Tony did actually approach them peacefully and talk to them, but then Captain America resisted, and then they got violent.
Oh yeah, he resisted so hard by not signing.
That's what he did. They talked it peacefully, and then when he just kept defying them...
Yeah, he talked peacefully with the Secretary of State standing there over them.
They only became violent after Captain America became violent and started just getting...
Because they were trying to kill Bucky, and he's trying to prove his innocence.
So?
So you're going to just let him kill him and then prove his innocence?
Yes!
If they would have talked it over...
And who said that they were going to kill him in the first place?
They shot at him!
They shot at him because Bucky started beating them up and...
Because they were trying to shoot him!
No!
Captain America told them not to kill them.
Winter Soldier was the first...
The most Captain America could get at is, he can't be tried for murder.
Dude, Captain America threw somebody off of a stairwell, and he kicked somebody he kills people.
He did not kill them.
He ruins people's lives.
Immobilizes them.
Do you know how many spines he probably crushed? How many people?
That's not my problem. That's not Cap's problem. He had to immobilize them.
And they were just cops trying to do their job. Do you know how many?
Well, maybe they shouldn't have gone up against America. Captain America.
Captain America was wrong, and he always has been wrong, and he always will be wrong.
Well, how has he always been wrong?
Because
the whole time,
blinded by
since
emotion.
1940 something, he's
the dude
been
has
wrong.
more estrogen than a normal woman.
How dare you?
He's blinded by complete emotion. He does whatever he's just whatever he feels.
Oh yeah, and Iron Man doesn't.
Iron Man is rational. He makes.
Let me build 100 suits that I can't even wear at one time.
It's because it's AI, so that way he can defend.
Yeah, I need 100 suits for a threat that he didn't even know existed.
He did know it existed because he was preparing for it after the Scarlet Witch did her little mind trickery.
No, Iron Man 3 was before Age of Ultron. He got so focused in on just building everything because he thought there was some threat out there. Now the threat was there, but he didn't know.
And the threat
didn't know it would come.
And the threat did come.
Okay, but Tony Stark was the borderline obsessed. Okay, and you're calling Steve Rogers.
Iron Man saw the threat in the first Avengers and then in the second Avengers, and then because of that, he knew that if he left the Avengers were unchecked and they just did whatever the hell they wanted, everybody would die and the world would end.
So what you're telling me
So what he did is that he became he wanted to bring the governments in so that way they could be checked, and that way also he could protect everybody and his friends, so that way nobody would die.
Even if that's true, and if Iron Man is obsessed with keeping especially Pepper, but Earth safe.
Yeah, he picked the lesser of two evils.
Then why would he want to risk the fracturing of his team that helped save the day?
Because he would rather be hated by his friends than watch him die in front of him.
Well, that's what happened. I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
Did people die?
Yes!
They're going to come back. It's obvious.
He doesn't know that.
Everybody does. They know they're going to come back.
Not in the movie.
The Avengers, no. Not in the Avengers movie.
Not in the movie, they don't.
But we do as people, because
we know how stories work.
All right, well, would you rather have everybody that you love hate you, or would you rather watch them die in front of you?
Both happened to him, so
It's because they kept defying him, and they kept.
But he's not the leader. Captain America's the leader.
Actually, Iron Man was told to be the leader in when he was signed on to join.
The Avengers.
The Avengers. He was supposed to be the leader, essentially. Him and Captain America are essentially like both the leaders.
Well, then he pretty much kicked out the other leader and said, "Screw you! This is my team."
He didn't kick out the leader. He showed them a plan that was supposed to help them and help the world.
But if Captain America is his equal and Captain America got to have the Avengers to say no, don't you think they should have not done that?
What?
If half of the Avengers said, "We don't think this is a good idea," okay, and they had to recruit Spider-Man and Black Panther, which were not Avengers, okay? And to even get a middle ground, like an even number here.
If you're going off of recruiting, then Captain America also went off and got Ant-Man and some other person, Black Panther.
He didn't. That was Iron Man, Steve.
No, Black Panther was Iron Man's team.
The only person that Captain America recruited was Ant-Man. So let's just say if we just went purely on recruiting.
I also got Peggy's daughter's help as well.
She was not in the battle. We're talking about Avengers here.
She helped them. She got them their gear.
Maybe, but we're going back in time before that. Before that event. Okay, before any recruitment happening. No Spider-Man, no Black Panther, no Ant-Man, no blonde chick that helped get the
Also,
gear.
Captain America's team got their ass handed to them.
They did not.
They did. Because like 3/4 of them got caught.
You're interrupting me. I'm trying to set up a scene here. You had Cap, okay? Wanda was there. Vision was there. Rhodey was there. Iron Man was there. And Natasha doesn't really... She was a swing vote, okay? She was a swing vote.
She's a double agent like she always is.
She is. So she doesn't count. Captain America, okay? And then you could argue... Clint Barton is an Avenger. So...
But he wasn't involved.
He was...
No, he did become involved later.
Okay, so let's just throw him in because he is a certified Avenger that was in the problem. Captain America had at least as many people, okay? Mm-hmm. I'm bad at counting. I didn't count. Do we want to count this up?
Captain America had him. It had Ant-Man. It had Scarlet Witch and Falcon. It was 4, right?
Falcon was there too. I forgot.
I think it was just those 4, right?
Okay. And then Hawkeye.
And the Hawkeye, and that's was 5. And then Iron Man had him. It had Vision. It had
War Machine.
Black Panther, War Machine,
Spider-Man.
At the time, it also had Black Widow. So he had 6.
Well, if we're throwing in that...
Also, Captain America also had 6 because of Bucky.
Bucky. So there was a 6-on-6. It was an even fight. But if we take out Bucky, and we take out Ant-Man, we take out Spider-Man and Black Panther, that's 4 people. But Natasha's on both sides. Okay? She's like playing both sides here. Like, yeah, she's playing Iron Man's side, but then she's playing Cap's side. She lets them escape. Mm-hmm. So, let's just rule her out, okay?
Okay.
Do we agree to rule her out?
Okay. Why are we ruling them? Why are we ruling people out?
We're ruling the people out because we're going back to the scene where they're signing.
Okay.
Okay? 1 sec. Oh, that's cool. So... If that's the thing, then that's more of the Avengers saying no than yes. Mm-hmm. So let's logically think about this for a minute. If Tony Stark was like either sign or don't be the part of the Avengers, and then they were like, you know what, we're not signing, we give up. We're not part of the Avengers, and it all ended peacefully. You really think Tony Stark is not gonna call him up when Thanos comes knocking? Let's be real here.
He is, because it is his fault.
It's Captain America's fault that Thanos is coming.
It's Captain America's fault that the whole thing fell apart and they weren't better prepared.
I'm saying in a hypothetical where we're back at that scene where they're about to sign, and Captain America.
What's with all your hypotheticals?
We gotta talk here.
But this isn't a what if. This is a debate with facts.
Let me finish. If Captain America, Scarlet Witch, and especially Scarlet Witch, Falcon and Hawkeye didn't sign. Now, I granted that really Hawkeye, but Hawkeye's in Endgame, so I guess he's good enough to fight Thanos. They can get anyone they can get. If all of those people were like, you know what, we're not going to sign, but, we could just go do our own thing, like Steve Rogers was doing at the beginning of Winter Soldier, just kind of blending into the public.
Yeah.
When that battle in New York happens with the big spinny thing in the beginning of Infinity War, do you really think Tony Stark's, which is, at this point in this hypothetical, part of the Sokovia Accords. Him and the other Avengers did sign. Do you really think they're not going to be like, hey, Captain America, we kind of need your help right now. This is kind of bigger than the UN. Or do you think he's going to be like, no, we can't help him. We can't ask for his help because...
They would never ask the help of a fugitive.
No, we're talking before he's a fugitive.
I'm sorry, I completely zoned out. I can...
Don't zone out when I'm talking.
What are we even talking?
Do you remember the scene at the very beginning of the movie?
You're describing the thing that happened in the whole timeline. If we want to talk about alternate timelines, we talk about what would happen if they all did sign.
Okay. No, what I'm saying is, do you remember you've seen the movie?
Yes.
You remember the scene where General Ross was like, you need to sign this, and then Captain America was like, but I don't want to sign it. And they were in the Avengers, they were sitting down, everything was fine.
Yes.
If Captain America didn't sign the document, the other Avengers that were on
did not sign.
Okay, but instead of going and becoming fugitives, they just don't do anything. They just leave the Avengers peacefully because, that was part of the terms of not signing the document.
Then they would not call him.
Why?
Because why would they?
Because if Thanos is coming to Wakanda, or wherever Vision is, they're taking down Vision, Iron Man's off in space, they can't get a read of Iron Man, Spider-Man, well, they don't know Doctor Strange really there. But if they can't get a read of him, and they know Vision's under attack because, I'm assuming they have some sort of visual on Vision because of the UN, do you really think they're going to be like, no, we're not going to call in half of the old Avengers team?
That would be the equivalent of me leaving the military and then no longer having to be completely associated with the military whatsoever, and then me getting a call saying, hey, you're being deployed.
Yeah, but you're not a super soldier.
Exactly. I'm just saying.
Or Wanda when Maximoff of her psychic powers.
This is an example. They would not call him because they would have no reason to, and who cares about him anymore? If he's not a part of the unit that helps protect the world, if he decides to walk away from that, then why would they call him?
Because he's needed. No. They called on everybody in Infinity War.
Well, he just kind of showed up.
Well, yeah, but they would have showed up either way.
Exactly. But nobody would have called him. They never would have said that we need you. He would have just showed up, just like he did in the regular timeline.
But no one would. But would Tony Stark? No, Tony Stark did call him. He did call him.
And besides, the only reason Captain America is a fugitive is because he helped Bucky. He didn't become a fugitive just because he didn't sign the Sokovia Accords.
Well, he would have.
No, he wouldn't have.
He would have been kicked off the Avengers.
No, the Avengers just would have been dissolved.
Well, then they would have had, the new Avengers and the Sokovia Accords.
Then they would have been completely dissolved.
But those super-powered people are still there.
Yes, they exist, but the Avengers wouldn't exist.
Okay, well, whatever you want to call them, Iron Man's team.
They would just be Captain America. They would just be Captain America, Iron Man. It wouldn't be everybody lumped into the Avengers.
Well, then, but the people that did sign, they would have their own unit, team, whatever you want to call it. The ex-Avengers. Iron Man's team. I don't care what label.
Avengers.
The better Avengers. Call them then. I don't care. The point is that if Thanos is showing up with his, sparkly little glove, do you really think that that's going to change anything? I'll give you a hint. It's no, because it didn't change anything.
Because what you're describing is exactly the same thing about what happened in the movie.
Which means that it is all stupid.
No, but if you're wanting to talk about something that'd be completely different, you would talk about what would happen if they all signed the Sokovia Accords and everybody was working together. That would be different. What you're describing is essentially what happened in the movie,
I know,
except one detail.
I'm trying to explain. I'm going for the final stretch, the final home run.
You're explaining nothing. You're just talking because you like to hear your own voice.
You know what? You want to go? We're going to turn the podcast into video.
Okay, I think it's time to stop this.
It's over. The debate's over.
Okay, I think...
Who would you say won?
Well, I don't think Mr. Beard would want to hear it. So he should probably leave the room. But Tony Stark won, I think. Either because he made a really good argument or... something else, I don't know. But he made really good points, I feel like. And you did hold your own pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Questions were biased.
How about this?
That is true.
How about this?
You still had a chance.
A few episodes later, we'll revisit this argument with fresh ideas and new questions and better information.
Better than my crappy.
And then we'll do it again and we'll see.
Let's do some research.
But right now, I won.
Well, just call it a draw.
I deserve a reward.
What do you want?
Iron Man's
his soul.
Suit. Yes, his soul.
Oh yeah, because you're the ginger.
Well, I think that's it for us.
Just like in the comics and in the movie, Captain America loses.
Yes.
But Captain America will come back and be a badass.
But probably die again.
But then probably...
But they'll probably both die, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, maybe. We don't know for sure.
My bet's on both of them die.
You want them both to die?
No, I'm not saying I want them both to die. I'm saying that I bet they'll both die.
Why not bet that they live?
Because I'm a realist and they're not going to.
You don't know if
their contracts are up.
Yeah, but they could renew them. If they were
going to renew them, they would have done it by now.
I don't think Marvel's going to renew them, because if they were to renew them, it would be like $20 million just to have him on because the price keeps going
Money
up
well
and up
spent,
and up and up.
in my opinion.
Yeah,
And really, they've kind of like we got so many new heroes.
Yeah, and
we
they
don't
kind of
need them.
and
But they're the
MCU
core
kind
of
of
the Avengers.
the MCU
How can you
kind
just
of-
get rid of them?
The MCU kind of ran its course. And besides, they are introducing a ton of like new characters,
Well-
which still have like tons more movies on their contract. So what they're probably going to do is these characters will either die or they'll just leave, and then that's it.
Now,
that'll be the new.
I think that, and then like I said, even though Steve Rogers is Captain America or Iron Man is Tony Stark, they might not. They might like Tony Stark and Steve Rogers might leave, but someone else can always take up that mantle.
Also, Hawkeye's probably going to leave for the final time.
Probably,
Yeah.
hopefully. And so, I mean, like, for instance, Falcon or Bucky have both taken up Captain America in the comics. They could easily just don the Captain America, don the shield, it's okay. And I don't really know who really... I think really kind of Tony Stark is Iron Man. They have Iron Heart, which is the...
Tony Stark's always Iron Man.
Yeah, because
Well,
he even
Iron Heart
pronounced
is-
it
no,
himself.
Nobody's ever like taken over.
Well, Iron Heart is like another hero, but she's pretty much female Iron Man with Tony Stark's AI in her suit. So Tony Stark is involved. It's just not he's not flying in the suit.
Yeah, but nobody could replace him anyway.
That's
Robert
true.
Downey Jr.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. But
It's like-
someone could replace the mantle of Captain America.
Yeah, I guess.
But then again, Captain Marvel is getting ready to show up.
Captain Marvel. Captain
Yeah, I know.
Marvel.
But
Marvel.
hasn't she had like one comic produced every couple of years just to
She's
keep
been rewritten like recreated from the ground up 8 times in the past like 10 years.
Yeah, it's
It's
because they're trying to keep
ridiculous.
her name to her. Because then I think Shazam could take that because that's what he
Shazam's
was.
going to destroy.
The movie?
I'm not a big DC fan.
Shazam is going to be. I'm
But-
going to watch it.
I like
Shazam
it.
is essentially Deadpool.
Yeah, Shazam looks like a good movie.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not even a big fan of the DCEU. I think the DCEU is absolute garbage. I haven't seen Wonder Woman. I know everyone says
It's
it's good.
alright. It's pretty good.
Wonder Woman is good. However, I think it's like really slow in a few parts.
Okay, I haven't heard it, so I'm not going to judge that movie.
Spoiler alert: they all die.
Yeah, actually,
Kidding.
he's
Rogue One.
He's not wrong because they were fighting.
All right, spoiler alert. Actually,
They were
then
fighting in
for-
World War One. Of course, they're all dead.
But I have seen Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Justice League, Suicide Squad. Am I
Wait,
missing anything?
Are we talking about the Man of Steel that was made?
The one where they fight Zod.
Did you watch?
Snaps his
Well, I
neck.
guess it's Aquaman now.
I have not seen
yeah.
Aquaman, but I've heard that one's good too.
It's all right. It's not very good in my opinion.
But I think Shazam is going to be probably the best movie in the DCU.
I agree with you there.
And it's got the kid from It in it, the scared
Who?
the kid that was really scared and had to take his medicine
Oh, that kid.
and that broke his arm. That kid's just like Shazam's like sidekick friend.
Oh, he's another sidekick again.
But he
That's
looks, it's a totally different character. Trust me.
But he's
Like
still a sidekick.
based on the trailers, this character looks like something you see in a superhero movie, not It.
All right. Well, I'd say this episode's run its course.
100.
By the way, speaking of It, It 2 is coming out on my birthday. I'm really psyched. I know what I'm doing on my birthday.
Wait, what is?
It Chapter 2.
They're making another movie this year.
Well, the original It movie in the 90s was actually like a miniseries, but there's 2 timelines to It. So, for the big book. There's a timeline when they're children and adults, so they're going to do the adult movie.
Okay, so I thought they were gonna wait
When they were
like
adults, were
27
they still
years.
counting them when they were kids?
Yeah.
Okay.
They accounted them first as kids, and then 17 years or 27 years, whatever, they come back to Derry as adults to like fight them.
Yeah,
again.
aren't we supposed to wait 27 years though until we get that movie then?
No.
Well,
Yeah.
that is stupid because that's what happened this time.
We waited 27
If
years.
if only they were realistic, it would be like you would be watching the MCU and then you would watch like halfway through the movie and then it would end and like you can only watch the rest of the movie after a year.
All right, we're still talking and we're supposed to end this now.
Yes, end it.
Okay,
Bye.
this has been the Ginger Beard and Glasses podcast. Glasses, like you
Guest
must
starring the hat.
Yeah.
guest star in the hat, and Glasses might have gotten snapped by Thanos because he's like in and out. So this has been the end of the podcast. Signing off.